barbecue shop here at Hayes Garden World. Once again, as always, we're joined by top barbecue chef, Mr. Richard Holden.
Hi folks.
And in this video, we're going to be doing our take on a Lancashire hot pot.
Good, solid, comfort food classic.
Cooked in a Traeger Timberline 850.
Right, so I'm going to need your help for the assembly on this one. I'm going to start off just by seasoning some flour in here. Now, some recipes will say to use seasoned flour, and quite often people say, where do I get that from? Regular plain flour with lots and lots of seasoning, because we've got to season enough for the lamb that we're going to coat with this flour. So salt in there as well. And if you think this looks a lot, it's because we've got quite a lot of meat there as well. So these are lamb neck chops. So a nice cheap cut of meat. And authentic, this would have been something that people would have put in the oven first thing in the morning and then gone off to work and come back and it's ready. So seasoned flour. Now while I'm going to coat these lamb chops, these lamb neck chops, could you start to pop a layer of potatoes in the bottom of there? It's really important when you are layering up these dishes, even though we're going to have seasoning on the lamb, it's really important to season up the layers of vegetables as well. So I'm just going to tumble that through there and then start to get our lamb pieces through the flour. And what the flour is also going to do is, so the basic components of this recipe, we've got the potato, the onion, the carrot, and the lamb, and then a lamb stock. If you can't get lamb stock, you can use a beef stock. But what's going to happen is the flour that goes onto these pieces of lamb is going to thicken the sauce slightly, or thicken the stock slightly. So you can see what's happening with the first few pieces of lamb that we've got floured up. Just do the same with the second batch. And how are you getting on there?
Doing well.
Doing all right. Now, traditionally, if you see, or typically with food photography, if you see a Lancashire hot pot or a lamb hot pot, I'm from Lancashire, so I just call it a Lancashire hot pot. If you see a photograph of this, then you'll see all the potatoes nicely layered up around the top. Depends on your level of OCD, but you know, you can kind of be as fancy with it as you like. So they're all ready. Let's pop some onion in now, and then this isn't necessarily a traditional lamb hot pot, Lancashire hot pot, because we're going to put some carrots in there as well. So a little bit of variation, but at the end of the day, it's some root vegetables with some lamb cooked off in a stock, braised off nice and slowly. Can I get you to pop some seasoning on there as well for me? So season that nice and generously. Just on the same basis that if you were going to boil these potatoes, you would put seasoning in the water.
Salt? Salt
as well. Adrian, do you want to just come in and have a look with the handheld there and just see what we've done here? So we've got a layer of potatoes, onions, carrots. It's really quite self-explanatory, but just in case. And then what we're going to do is just start to layer these in. Now, if you didn't want, if you were maybe, I've done this for friends who have young children, and it's a really fiddly bit of meat sometimes for them to eat, or just people that, if you don't like faffing around or having to pick around your food, you can substitute this for some regular plain lamb stew, just some diced lamb, so there's no bones in there whatsoever. Traditionally this would be done using a lamb neck chop, so if you wanted to just make it a little bit easier for the person that's going to be eating it, you can just go in with a diced lamb. So now that we've got that in there, more carrots over the top.
More onions.
More onions. So it's everything now in reverse. There we go. And just sprinkle those all on. That's looking good. And then,
sorry.
Bounce that out of the bowl. Right, and then what we start to do now is layer these in. Do you want to, if I go down one side of this dish, do you want to go down the other side?
Just keep piling them on.
Keep piling them in. Won't take any harm. Keep tucking them in. Just maybe go back to where I started and add a few extras. There we go. So now we've got that all laid up. Could you season over the top for me as well? So we've seasoned the lower level, we've seasoned the lamb in the centre, now we season the top. And a little bit of salt as well. And then the last thing is some butter. So we just take these little knobs of butter, well, not the last thing actually, because we need to add the lamb stock, don't we? We just take these little knobs of butter and just dot these on. And what will happen here is they will melt, obviously, and then they'll coat the tops of the potatoes. And then as these bake, it will turn the potatoes nice and golden brown. And, you know, there used to be a dish for making a Lancashire hot pot that had a lid. If it starts to go a little bit dark on the top, you can put a sheet of tinfoil. If I can just get you to pour that stock, this is the lamb stock, remember? Just pour that in. Don't pour it over the top because all the seasoning will just drop straight through to the bottom. It'll all be washed straight through to the bottom of the dish. Just pour it in through a corner, and what you're looking to do is come about halfway up that dish. The potatoes, the onions, the carrots and the lamb will be quite close to that stock, and then the carrots, the onions and the potatoes on the top half will steam and they'll get that beautiful flavour as well. So that's looking pretty good. We can just see down here that we're about halfway in.
Yep.
That is now ready to go on our barbecue. So if we come over here, we got the Traeger set up for 160 degrees C, which this is, don't forget, these lamb neck chops are a tough cut of meat. They're a cheap cut of meat, so they benefit from being cooked low and slow, similar to brisket, pork shoulder, ribs, those kind of things. So tough working cut of meat, cook it nice and low and slow. If you wanted to cook it lower than 160, you absolutely could, down to like the 130, 140 if you wanted to leave it in for a long period of time and just let it cook throughout the afternoon. If you wanted to cook it quicker, that dish there, I think, at 160 will take about 2.5 to 3 hours, but it's cooking low and slow, so if you do go over, it's not going to ruin, it's just going to be even more delicate and tender and juicy when we actually get to eat it at the end.
So we'll come back in about 2.5 hours.
Right, let's take a look at our Lancashire hot pot.
Looking good, nice and crispy.
That's one of the nice things about leaving the lid off or a top off. So there we go, Lancashire hot pot. Now you can just give this the allotted amount of time, or if you wanted to, you could use your temperature probe. If you're using your temperature probe to check the lamb, mid-90s is absolutely fine because that's going to be absolutely falling to pieces. I preheated this plate. It's not too bad. So let's just see if I can get a spoonful of our dish here. If it'll come out nicely for me. Oh. Here we go. Let's grab those few potatoes for the top. So a couple of lamb neck chops there. With some carrots. Fantastic. It does. It smells really good. The sweetness from the lamb and the that sweetness from the lamb stock as well. If you can't get lamb stock, use beef stock. But that's a little bit of regional food, comfort food heaven. I'm going to have a taste. You can say what you need to say.
So if you'd like to find the recipe for the dish, visit our website, haysgardenworld.co.uk, or visit the staff here at the barbecue shop at the garden centre. Mm-hmm. We're across all the social media platforms.
All of them.
So if you do try and create this dish on a barbecue, please share and like the picture. We'll love to see people's creations.
Absolutely.
And all that's really left for us to say is Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, folks.
And we're going to dig in.
We are.
Where's my fork?
I don't know. We've lost it somewhere. There we go.
See you next time.
See you next time.